A former CIA analyst reveals evidence suggesting a cover-up at a high-profile Washington event. You've seen the headlines, you've heard the reports. But there's one crucial detail you've likely missed about the events that unfolded at a recent high-profile gathering in Washington, D.C. This isn't just about a single incident, it's about the potential implications for how information is handled at the highest levels. We're going to delve into what might have been overlooked, and why it matters. The scene was set for a prominent event, a gathering of influential figures. However, amidst the expected proceedings, something unusual occurred. A former CIA intelligence analyst, Larry Johnson, has come forward with information that challenges the official narrative. He claims that critical evidence may have been compromised before any formal investigation could even begin. What kind of evidence are we talking about, and who would benefit from its premature destruction? Johnson, with his background in intelligence analysis, brings a unique perspective. He suggests that the speed at which certain actions were taken, or not taken, points to a deliberate effort to control the flow of information. Consider the timeline: an incident occurs, and almost immediately, the scene is altered, or key pieces of potential evidence disappear. Does this indicate a system designed for transparency, or one built for obfuscation? He highlights the importance of forensic evidence in any investigation. When that evidence is no longer available, it leaves significant gaps. Johnson's claims raise serious questions about the integrity of the process. Was this a mistake, a consequence of chaos, or something far more calculated? And what does this say about the trust we place in official accounts of such events? The analyst points to specific details, like the handling of physical evidence, that seem to deviate from standard protocols. He presents a narrative that suggests a predetermined outcome, where the narrative is shaped before the facts are fully established. Why would an organization, or individuals within it, go to such lengths to control a story? What are they truly trying to protect? The implications of these claims extend beyond a single event. They touch upon the broader themes of accountability, transparency, and the public's right to know the unvarnished truth. If evidence can be so easily managed or made to disappear, what does that mean for justice? And how can we, as observers, discern fact from carefully constructed fiction? The first layer is context. Every documentary story begins before the moment people remember. There is a setting, a chain of decisions, and a public reaction that shapes how the event is understood. In the case of intelligence analyst on White House incident, the important thing is not only what happened, but why the surrounding details made people pay attention. That is where the story begins to move from a simple summary into something more useful. It asks us to look at timing, location, pressure, and the way one moment can represent a much larger pattern. The second layer is what people often misunderstand. A single image or short clip can feel complete, but it usually leaves out the forces around it. Viewers see the result, not the build-up. They see the most dramatic frame, not the quiet details that made it possible. That gap matters because it changes the meaning of the story. When we examine intelligence analyst on White House incident carefully, we are not just asking what is visible. We are asking what is missing from the first impression. Then comes the turning point. This is where the story stops being only about one scene and starts pointing to a bigger question. Why did this particular moment stand out? Why did people share it, debate it, or return to it later? The answer is usually not one simple fact. It is a combination of emotion, uncertainty, and recognition. People respond when a story feels specific, but also familiar enough to connect to something they already care about. Another important detail is the human tendency to look for a clean conclusion. We want a final answer, a clear lesson, and a single explanation that ties every loose end together. But strong documentary stories often resist that. They leave us with evidence, competing interpretations, and a reminder that public understanding is always incomplete. That does not make the story weaker. It makes it more honest. So what value can we take from intelligence analyst on White House incident? The value is not just the event itself. It is the pattern around it. It shows how quickly attention forms, how easily context disappears, and how important it is to ask better questions before accepting the easiest version of a story. That is why stories like this continue to matter after the first wave of attention fades. In the end, Intelligence Analyst on White House incident remains worth examining because it sits between fact and interpretation. We can see enough to understand why it matters, but not always enough to close the case completely. And that open space is where documentary storytelling becomes powerful. It does not tell us what to think. It gives us a clearer way to look. The questions raised by Larry Johnson are profound, suggesting that what we perceive as fact can sometimes be a carefully curated illusion. The integrity of information is paramount, and when it's compromised, so is our understanding of reality. If you want more breakdowns of complex stories like this, be sure to subscribe. What other hidden details are we missing?